Welcome to Education in Focus. I'm Eliana Kernodle. Law enforcement and certain advocacy groups are raising some concerns about a bill in California. Joining me to tell us more about this is the Center Square's Esther Wickham. Esther, can you start by laying out what this bill is and what it would do?
Yeah, thanks, Eliana. So Assembly Bill 727 in California, which was authored by Assemblyman Mark Gonzalez, would require the Traverse Project, which is an LGBTQ suicide hotline, to essentially be printed on all public school student ID cards for grades 7 through college. So essentially this would require, all of the students to have them so that they have the opportunity if they are in need of help. The online website is also connected to the Traverse Project, which is known as Traverse Space. So these students, if they need extra help or more students to talk to about the issues they're going through, they can go onto Traverse Space, and this platform encourages these LGBTQ plus students ages from 13 to 24 to connect and share personal stories.
And there's already the national hotline printed on student ID cards, right? What's kind of the reasoning behind this change?
Yeah, so the National Suicide Hotline Prevention, which is 988, is already on the back of student ID cards. A lot of people argue that because this is already a thing, they don't necessarily need to add the Traverse Project suicide hotline number on the back of these school student ID cards. But on the other side, especially the author, Assemblyman Gonzalez, argues that, this is specifically for the LGBT community, for them to have a safe space instead of just students as a whole. And it's more so, instead of just nationally, it's specifically tailored to California schools.
But there are some concerns, not even necessarily about expanding resources, but just about the Trevor Project and how it's set up. What are some of the concerns there?
Yeah, so the Trevor Project, as I said, has this online platform called Traverse Space, which is the goal in and of itself is noble, allowing a space for these young students to talk about their struggles, to find help, to find a community to speak with. But a lot of controversy has followed around it after various advocacy groups, specifically the California Family Council, as well as local law enforcement, launched an investigation actually looking into the website. And they found that the website itself was not securely monitored, and their worry was that it could lead children vulnerable to online predators. Kevin Brown, who is a former police officer, and he's the founder of Lives Worth Saving, which is a nonprofit that specifically looks at recovering child sex trafficking victims, said that Trevor Space is not monitored. And really, after their investigation, they found anyone can create a website regardless of their age. There's no age verification. The site doesn't verify age, and it leaves these individuals exposed to victimization by predators. Specifically, law enforcement from the Riverside County Sheriff's Office and the nonprofit Lives Worth Saving wrote a letter actually opposing this bill, stating to constituents, vote no against this bill, because these undercover tests showed how easily, these predators could infiltrate Trevor Space. In one of the examples, Brown, who went in an undercover operation, he's almost 70 years old, and he went on the website posing as a 15-year-old boy, bypassed security, super easy for him to get on and make that fake age. And within minutes, he was able to go into various chat rooms and various, chat room clubs and actually talk to other kids. And he was able to, have these kinds of vulnerable conversations with these kids posing as a 15-year-old. And one of them actually asked if they could move the conversation from Traverse Space to Discord, which is another familiar social media site. And for him, as a former police officer and has done a lot of undercover raids before, he found that a lot of times people that are contacting others on Discord, they have the opportunity to sell and distribute child sexual abuse material. And so for them, that undercover test really confirmed that Trevor Space A is not a safe space at the end of the day for these students. And B, it's not only that space that they're having these conversations on, they're easily able to be taken off that platform onto other platforms where they are exposed to, online predators and potentially harmful people.
Well, Esther, thank you for your insights on this story.
Thanks so much for having me.
Obviously, it's a very important discussion and something that raises a lot of concern because, we want people who are vulnerable to have the resources they need. But on the flip side, we also want to make sure that those resources don't open them up to people who would take advantage of their vulnerability. So we will continue to follow this story and see where it goes from here. And listeners and viewers can keep up with this at thecentersquare.com.